The Detroit Lions, guys. The Detroit Lions were riddled with injuries in 2024. One of the biggest losses of the season was back in week 5 when they played the Dallas Cowboys, and it was Aiden Hutchinson. He went down late in that game. Pretty much shouldn't have been in there. They were already blowing out the Dallas Cowboys. It was just mop-up duty. But down he goes, right? It is what it is. Sometimes that happens. Despite the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, however, the Detroit Lions were still able to rattle 8 more wins off in a row and winning 11 of 12 to end the season. However, they were a one and done in the playoffs with a horrible loss to the Washington Commanders. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Vikings and Lions are both one and done. I told you so. But we got to ask the question. We got to address the elephant in the room. If Aiden Hutchinson does come back 100%, if he's fully healthy, much like his old self before the injury, are the Lions a Super Bowl team with a healthy team and a healthy Aiden Hutchinson in 2025? That is a lot to dissect. That's a lot to take in. Let's take the breath. Let's understand that Aiden Hutchinson, guys, no shade of him at all. He is an elite talent. He is a great person on and off the field from everything that I see and read and just his general family life, right? He seems to be doing things the right way. In 2024, the Detroit Lions had the amazing ability to plug and play last season. A lot of that had to do with the coaching and the system, right? But they plugged and played beautifully for 17 weeks. They had 24 players last year land on IR. 20 of them, which were on defense. But the wild card game, the playoffs, everything finally caught up to them, right? They gave up 45 points to the Commanders and allowing Jayden Daniels to do what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted to do it. 300 yards passing, 182 yards total rushing, and it is hard to win when you're giving up that kind of yardage. Now, when we look at Aiden Hutchinson, guys, if he was able to play versus the Commanders, that game, in my opinion, would have been 100% different. That game would have been 100% different. It would have been a much slower game. We would have been looking at the 25 to 28 point range. We would not be seeing the shootout that we had. What was it, 45 to 38, I think the final score was? It would have been a ground and pound matchup. Grind it out, grit it out, which, in my opinion, would favor the Commanders still. Now, like I said, I think Aiden Hutchinson is a great talent, and he has a bright NFL future. Do not get that twisted. I think he is a top-tier individual, top-tier player in the NFL. But simply put, just adding Aiden Hutchinson back to that Detroit Lions team does not make them a Super Bowl favorite. Adding 100% Aiden Hutchinson does not make the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl favorite. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. A 100% healthy Aiden Hutchinson does not make the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl favorite in 2025. They have a hell of a lot more holes to fill. Like on the defense, right? Is Josh Paschal the right guy at the right defensive end opposite of Aiden Hutchinson? Can McNeil, will he ball out again and earn those dollar bills? I think McNeil's a great talent. I think he had a way overachieved last season. He got paid. Can he repeat that in 2025? And let's not forget the elephant in the room. That offense took a big hit. Yes, they didn't lose any players, but losing an offensive mastermind like Ben Johnson was the last several years in Detroit is a huge loss. And oh, by the way, they lost Aaron Glenn as well. That just told Aaron Rodgers to go basically kick rocks. Guys, the Detroit Lions are not Super Bowl favorites as of right now in 2025, in my opinion. There are teams that simply have just caught up to them. The Eagles exceeded them. The Commanders are right there with them. The LA Rams, my Super Bowl pick for 2025, the Rams got a hell of a lot better this offseason. The Chicago Bears are coming. The Green Bay Packers are coming. Let's not forget about the Minnesota Vikings. We will be talking about them shortly, but they have zero holes on their team. Let's just be honest. They have a couple question marks, like some couple what ifs, but they have zero holes. They didn't lose anybody besides Sam Darnold. Guys, so the issue with the Detroit Lions is they had a huge Super Bowl window. The sky was the limit. everything was clicking because they were heads and shoulders above everybody else. They failed in the NFC Championship game 2 seasons ago. Everybody caught up a little bit then. One and done in last year's playoffs. Everybody's now neck and neck with them, if not a little bit higher. I'm not saying the Lions don't have grit. They don't have hard work. They don't have Mr. Dan Campbell, wood teeth mouth is like himself. But the simple fact of the matter is that everybody else is caught up. So, guys, what do you think? Are the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl team in 2025? I am saying no. Old Man River says, keep your phenomenon negative energy to yourself. Nice. Laura says, I'm not president of the Kirk Cousins fan club. Come on now. It can't be Cousins and Rodgers, so who is it? Laura says, I'm excited to watch the Lions and see what happens this season. Listen, I am excited to see what the Lions, like, if it was truly Aaron Glenn and all Ben Johnson, or if it's a Dan Campbell system. Was it Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn system, or was it Dan Campbell system? Like, that is my biggest complex that I'm having inside of my mind here. And